every time I see some top 10, top 5 list on YouTube explaining how to do this as a GM, how to be an awesome GM, how to be a great GM, how to be a good GM. Where's your game, bro? Welcome to part 1, my 1,000,000 part series on how to be the dopest dope you've ever smoked GM in the universe. Top-notch GMing, like a complete Chad, not like a nerd. Here we go. Top 3 things that you're going to need to know to be a great GM. Actually, we'll go top 4. We'll go number 1, look within. The imagination is limitless. You got to stop thinking about taverns and magic trolls and rescuing princesses. You got to expand your horizons. Number 2, master of ceremony. You need to be able to conquer a room. You need to be able to take it right over. If you can't rule and dominate a room, you're not going to be a good GM. You can't be a meandering, pandering, pathetic, mealy-mouthed little weasel GM. You got to GM like a man, or a badass woman in the case of a girl doing it, which I'm sure is possible. Nothing demonstrates the fact that you're playing with a horrendously terrible GM than a GM that tries to be also a party member. And I don't mean like he has an NPC that's doing a lot of stuff. I mean literally interfering in conversations, just pretending to be one of the gang. You're not one of the gang. You need to put it on as soon as that game starts. Those people are no longer your friends. And if you think they are, then you're ruining the game for them. You need to be the effing GM. That means when the game starts, the switch gets flipped. Number 4, the most important one of them all, and why you even bother with the ones that came before it, is immersion. If you cannot keep your table immersed in your world, your game is a complete failure and you're playing it like a noob. That is why it is important to not pretend you're a member of the party and joke around with them in ways that are inappropriate for a GM. You have to be a master of ceremony in the sense you have some presence, because you need to drape your party in immersion. If they're at a nightclub, they need to leave a feeling like they were at a nightclub. Immersion. And that also means maintaining the credibility of your world at the expense of any player. If your party wanders into a town on some Rohan to Gondor stuff, and you make your way to the royal court, you don't get your way when you get to meet their queen, and you walk in and the guards are obviously very proud and everybody's very elegantly dressed, and it's not a people that you can just trample, and you try some charm spell or some Jedi mind trick and fail, you're gonna die. You're getting thrown in a dungeon, you're getting executed, that's the end of you. If you play a game so your players can just run over everything that they encounter, doesn't matter if it's monsters in the woods or kings and queens in the royal court, if your game exists just to be trampled, your game is a failure. You're a failed GM, you're terrible. You should feel bad for wasting everybody's time. Nobody is going to hang around for that. Nobody wants to be told that they win some imaginary game that takes place entirely in your head because you ignore dice rolls and don't care what happens to NPCs as long as they lose to the players. So you never draw any lines, any boundaries, and your game is as good as dead. Immersion is king. If you can't deliver immersion, you need to have somebody else take care of the game. Ironically enough, I lost a bunch of audio, so the vibe is slightly different and the immersion is completely destroyed. Like and subscribe. Millions of content to come, millions and millions.